So I've not drank alcohol for just under 4 years. It's been 4 years without a single drop and I don't miss it. I've got no desire to ever go back to what things were like before. Now, all that being said, my journey took around 10 years until I've truly found a solution where I feel completely confident that I'm not going to drink again. But I've made mistakes. I've made some major mistakes. And the thing is we all make mistakes, right? If none of us made mistakes on a journey of stopping drinking, if everybody stopped first time around, then we wouldn't have a problem. People wouldn't be watching this channel. There'd be no rehabs, there'd be no meetings, there'd be no other people making content about how to actually stop drinking, right? But we've all made mistakes, and listen, I've made my fair share as well. But today in this video, what I want to do is I want to unpack the biggest mistake that I made, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a game plan of what to do if you ever find yourself in the same scenario that I did. Because I don't want you to make mistakes. I don't want you to fail. What I want you to do is I want you to beat this problem, and I want you to live an amazing life without alcohol. I want you to have better health. I want you to have an amazing relationship, a great career, great contribution in the world. That's what I want for you, and I know that if you're anything like me, alcohol does not fit into that picture. So just before we actually get into the video, if you want my personal help stopping drinking alcohol and you want to come into the Sober Clear program, where we use something called first principles thinking to reframe the way you view alcohol, and then we use coaching and there's a community of other people to do this with, click the link in the description and you can book a call with me. On that call, we'll just have a conversation and really see if this program could be a good match for you. So if you've tried things like AA, you might have tried stopping on your own, you might have tried using willpower, maybe rehab, maybe therapy. If you want to try a different approach, then just click the link in the description. And now back to the video. So as I was saying, I've made many mistakes, and my biggest mistake that I think came at a New Year's Eve party. And I have told you guys this story many times before, but today I'm going to really unpack it and I'm going to talk to you about what I would have done differently. So for those of you that don't know, there was a period in my life in my mid to late 20s where I stopped drinking for 9 months. There was 9 months where I didn't have a single drop, but it was just getting by on willpower. And during that 9 months, life was going well. I built this personal training business. I had a relationship, a car. I was living in a nice place. I was finishing my last year of university. I was submitting my work so fast. I even remember when I had the personal training business, I would get a piece of work said at university. And I remember what I would do is I would leave the class. I'd go straight to the library. I would do that piece of work in like 7 or 8 hours, just non-stop, submit it immediately, then go straight to the gym and get back to work on my business. I was so motivated, like things were just going in the right direction. And I felt like in that 9 months, I made more progress than I made in years. So I felt so good, but it all came crumbling down. I went to a New Year's Eve party after being sober for 9 months, and this ruined me. It was a really cool party. It was in a place in London. I think the name was the Hospital Club. It's like this really cool members club. My friend was a member at the time, and he invited us to this party. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a really cool party, but that party was my downfall. And I'm just remembering now, but it was like a Great Gatsby themed party. So everybody was dressed like really glamorously, and it was a really fun place. And when I got there, I wasn't drinking. I was like meeting people. I felt confident. I was like talking to complete strangers and developing relationships with people. In fact, there was one guy that I met there that we stayed in touch for like, a couple of years afterwards. And I remember he was drinking champagne. He asked if I wanted a champagne. I'm like, nah, I don't drink. But later on in the night, there was a switch. And that's what I want to do in this video is I want to really break this down for you. I want to break down what happened in my thought process and most importantly, give you a plan of what to do if you ever find yourself in this situation. So what started happening is I was going throughout the night not drinking, but every single person that I could see had a drink in their hand. Everybody was going up to the bar. The company that I were with, they were also ordering drinks. What started to happen is I really started to feel like, Am I missing out on something here? Am I the odd one out? Like, is everybody else having this great time and I'm gonna not have a good time? That's what I started saying to myself. And I remember the conversation was gradual, but it started with this very little seed and I started exploring it. And what I did is I almost put myself into a state of mind of, I'm missing out. And I thought that drinking alcohol would somehow enhance the occasion. Then as those thoughts started progressing and I almost started getting like these cravings again and like these justifications in my mind, later on in the evening, then I started to have this new idea. I had this idea that I could go back to controlling alcohol again. Things are going so well now, Leon. You've got this great life, great people around you. You've made these new friends. You're in London right now. I mean, what a great time to drink alcohol. But maybe what you could do, Leon, is you could control it. You could go to just having a few drinks tonight, then just get things back on track. You don't even need to get drunk tonight. Why don't you just have one drink and see what happens? And that's what I said to myself. I started to justify it again. I started to see that my life was in a good place, so why the hell not? I didn't drink because I was depressed or anxious or something like that. I drank because things were in a great place. And when this happened, the negatives were nowhere in my mind. I couldn't talk myself out of it. I forgot about all the bad things that used to happen. I forgot about the blackouts, the hangovers, the fights, the arguments. I forgot about all of this stuff. And in that moment, I could only see an upside to drinking alcohol. I could not see what would happen over the next 6, 7, 8, 9 months, however long it was, where I just destroyed everything. I couldn't think about that. I couldn't think about losing a relationship, destroying my business when I got back home, just that crumbling away, putting on weight again. I couldn't think of that stuff. Yet it happened. But in the moment, this is just going to make the party awesome. And what do you think happened? Well, of course, I drank. There's no way that somebody can say all those things to themselves and just resist. And it's why I think that willpower is something that just one day runs out. We find ourselves in a situation at a party, at a bar, and guess what? For me and millions of other people out there, we end up drinking again. But all that's well and good, right? What happened, happened. No regrets. I've got no regrets in this life. And I think all this stuff happened for a reason. If I hadn't gone through the exact path that I have gone through, I would not be in the position I'm in today, helping you guys stop drinking alcohol. So it is what it is. But the big question is this: what should have I done differently? The mistakes that I made seem hard to address. So I want to break down what I would have done differently so you don't make these mistakes. Now, the first thing that I probably shouldn't have done is I probably shouldn't have put myself in a situation like that in the first place. I wasn't doing something that I genuinely enjoyed. I don't enjoy going to bars. I don't enjoy being around people drinking and dancing. That's just not my idea of fun. I know that there are plenty of people out there that enjoy dancing, right? They can go to a bar or they can go to a nightclub and they can dance and not drink a drop. They are there for a specific activity. To me, I'm not into that. I'm a very awkward dancer. You don't want to see me dance. These days, I have put myself in situations with alcohol and people drinking plenty of times. Probably I don't know how many times, but it's been countless times that I've been around alcohol and it's been no issue. But in this scenario, it was a New Year's Eve party in a members club with hundreds of people and everybody was getting faced. You can fill in the blank. That is probably not a situation that I would enjoy. So what was I doing there? So I probably shouldn't have put myself in that situation in the first place. So that was the first mistake. And if I could go back in time, I might have done something different that night. I might have just, hung out with a different friend or gone to a different place or whatever. The second thing that I didn't do is I didn't think it through beforehand. I didn't start to think of the scenarios. I didn't start to think, well, what should I do if I start thinking this way? I just didn't think anything of it. And because I was using willpower the whole time that I stopped drinking, I just thought that I could keep using willpower. I thought that, if somebody offers me a drink, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to be strong. But I didn't actually think, well, what happens if I start justifying it to myself? What happens if I start these little conversations? So what I would have done differently is I really would have made a plan. I would have had, some kind of getaway or some kind of excuse. I would have just made a bit of a plan beforehand. And I'm not saying that, you should justify yourself to other people, but mentally, you need to be strong in those situations. You need a plan and you need a strong worldview. You need to be able to see alcohol as a poison and not want to get involved and buy into the illusion. But really, the third thing that I should have done is in my plan that I should have made is as soon as I started getting those thought patterns, I should have just bounced. I should have just got the hell out of there. And do you know what? If I had made a plan and got out of there, who knows where my life would have been? I wouldn't have had that other slippery slope down and having to start again and get back to where I am today. Maybe my life would be in a much better place right now. But it is what it is. No regrets. There's no coincidences. If anything, that mistake has helped me make this video, so it's helped you guys. Anyway, hope this video was helpful. Again, if you want my help, click the link in the description. Let's book a call. Let's see if the Sober Clear program could be a good match for you, and have a great day.